Ready? All right, at this time, I'd like to call the Physical Services Committee meeting to order. Before we get started, we have someone that would like to give us some info on Super Dirt Week. So come on up, Ellen. Give us what you got.
Hi, my name is Ellen Clark. I'm here with the Promotion Tourism Advisory Board, and this is my racing shirt. And I'm here to promote Super Dirt Week. For those of you who don't know what's happening, you will soon, because we will just keep getting more and more people into town. It officially started on Sunday, and I have posters that I would like to see in any and all businesses by Wednesday at noon, because we're going to have a parade of sorts of the dirt cars going through the downtown. So we would like to welcome them with these posters in the windows and with our gratitude for coming to our town and spending money.
What time?
Wednesday at noon. Yep. And if you want to know any more, superdirtweekonline.com. And it has the schedule and the history and anything you'd like to know about it. I already heard a few grumblings from up here, from over here somewhere, of all the people coming into town. Please don't grumble. We really need this. It's going to bring in a lot of sales tax. We want this. And there's going to be kinks to work out. We're hoping to go forward after this year. So stick with it and welcome everyone. Thanks.
Thanks, Ellen. Could you please call the roll?
Councillor Van Buren.
Here.
Councillor Emmons.
Here.
Councillor Gozick.
Here.
Councillor McLaughlin.
Here. Is there any old business to come before this committee? Seeing none, move on to new business. Can I get approval of the minutes for the September 19th, 2016 committee meeting?
I'll second.
Councillor Van Buren.
Yes.
Councillor Emmons.
Yes.
Councillor Gozick.
Yes.
Councillor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Moving on to item number 1 under authorization. The engineering department requests use of public space on behalf of James Smigelski, owner of a single-family dwelling at 203 West Seneca Street, located in the first ward, for a 1-foot by 21-foot 9 inches to install a new 4-foot high chain link fence between the sidewalk and property line fronting West Seneca Street. There's a attachment. Counselor.
Is Mr. Smigelski here? No? Okay, I know he recently had surgery, so if he's not here, that's probably why. But I do support this. We talked to him and his neighbor a lot in the last few meetings, and I support this.
Any questions or comments? Councilor Gurdy.
Thank you. I was just wondering if I could get clarification on the dimensions of the fence. I know Mr. Smigelski is not here, but it listed as 1 foot by 21 foot 9 inches by 4 foot high. And I don't understand. I understand the 21.9 length. I understand it's 4 foot high. But what's the 1 foot dimension? Does anybody know?
Coming over.
Yes, just the space is going to be occupied by the fence.
Yeah, so he's given it essentially 6 inches on either side of the fence for
Got
public
it.
space. So when we did our lamp post project, those actually came with a 4x4 base. If we wanted to landscape or anything around it, you have to include the use of public space for those.
Very good. Thank you. Clarifying that for a rookie.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Ted. Second.
Councillor Van Buren.
Yes.
Councillor Emmons.
Yes.
Councillor Gozick.
Yes.
Councillor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Moving on to item number 2, the engineering department requests use of public space on behalf of Michael Batchelor, owner of a 2-family dwelling at 44 West 2nd Street, located in the first ward, for 11 foot by 54 foot for a 3-car parking area. Mr. Batchelor also requests use of public space, 11 foot by 18 foot 9 inches, for a new apron between the curb and sidewalk fronting West 2nd Street. There's an attachment. Counselor.
Mr. Batchelor is here.
Hi. I just recently bought the house in February, and I've lived in the neighborhood all my life. There was a driveway there at one time. When Scythe went through with the water line, that seemed to disappear because they put new curbs in and the driveway wasn't there anymore. So I've spent a lot of money as far as remodeling the inside of the house and stuff, so I'm trying to get approval for side street parking. There was 2 proposals. This is the one I chose. The other one I was more concerned with snow removal and stuff because it's an intersection, so the snow piles up, and my neighbor is more in favor of this one than the other one. Pretty much, I got any questions?
Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
We got item number 3, the engineering department requests use of public space on behalf of Stephen Pegaroli, property owner of 243 Dewar Street, for a 9-foot by 25-foot to accommodate proposed 3-car parking area between curb and property line running Dewar Street. Mr. Pegaroli is here, I believe.
Good evening. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh,
That's all you're doing.
yeah, so I recently received a permit to allow for front yard parking and also a permit to allow for antique sales at this location. And this is, I think, my final permit request regarding this. I guess this one is for special use. Is that by definition what it is?
I believe the special use was issued by the board. We're just doing the use of public space.
Okay, public space.
Is there any questions or comments regarding this? Councilor Walker.
Yes, this is in the 4th Ward. It used to be the old TV shop. What was it?
Bob's TV.
Bob's TV. Was in his family. And there's some parking out front now. And they're going to be using where the sidewalk would be, but there's no sidewalks on that side. So I see no problem with this, and I'm going to support this.
Open parking on both sides of the street, a total of 5 houses on both sides. There's probably more parking in this section between Utica and Albany than anywhere this side of Bridge Street in the city.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Is there any other business to come before this committee? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick. Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Here.
Counselor Gozick.
Here.
Counselor Corradino.
Here. Have a motion to approve minutes for September 19th, 2016? Second.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Is there any old business? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. Under discussion, item 1, the engineering department states that the housing visions has been approved by the city planning and zoning boards for the proposed development at Flexo Wire site. Proposal is for a 5-story mixed-use building with 57 residential units and 8,000 square feet of commercial space. There's also 18 townhouses, or 18-unit townhouse. And then we'll go down, we had a little revision on this. The Housing Vision property revitalizes 5 properties with the development of one large mixed-use of 5-story building containing 57 residential apartment units and 8,000 square feet of leasable first-floor commercial space. The project also includes 6-unit townhouse buildings yielding 18 units for a total of 75 units at the proposed Harborview Square development. The project proposes a total of 143 parking spaces, 84 are located within the property, and 59 are located within the row parking located in the row of the public parking for every resident use of public space on a first come, first served basis. And we have Mr. Weather here to speak on that.
Housing Vision is here.
Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks. As we move along to the next step as the preferred developer of Flexo Wire, as you stated, we made it through planning and zoning as a condition on the ZBA. We did agree to add at least 10 spots, which the new site plan, which you referred to, we were able to add 13 more onto this to help alleviate some of the neighborhood concerns with parking, especially in the winter. Each one of those spaces is about every right-of-way space that we create is about a $1,500 cost, but we'll maintain it, make sure it's plowed and all those things during the winter months to allow access for our residents as well as people using it.
I do have one question.
Yep.
The public space parking over again, Second Street.
Yes.
Now that would be on a first come, first served basis for residents across the street, whoever wants to use that, you are going to maintain that, right?
We will put up the curbing, we will do the pave it to the city standards. The city, at that point, inherits what we do. As a matter of what we will do as a property manager, we'll plow it as people get plowed into, the city will plow it, they'll create a giant snow curb. We'll have to move that to make sure people can get in and out. Yep.
Yeah, this is in the first ward, and we've spent lots of time talking about this at planning and zoning. After our discussions there, I think that we should definitely approve these spaces, and great work.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Mr. Cordino?
Quick question. I remember the preliminary presentation that you guys gave us. I could have swore that the building wasn't L-shaped. Did you change the configuration of the building, or was it L-shaped in the beginning?
My honest answer is I don't remember. Yeah, we did have some configuration changes on this to take into account, trying to capture as much of the water and as little of the oil tanks as possible.
Because I thought I remember that it was more fronting on Second Street. And, basically, that was the entrance. Now, the entrance.
We did have two entrances between First and Second. There was going to be in and outs, but to help lessen the impact on Second Street, we just have one entrance on First Street. Yes. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Counselor Walker. Counselor Gozick. Counselor Corradino. Yes. And we need a resolution.
You do a resolution, please? Any other new business to come before this committee? Seeing none, I motion to adjourn.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to open up the Administrative Services Committee meeting. Roll call, please.
Counselor Corradino.
Here.
Counselor Van Buren. Counselor Reynolds.
Here.
Counselor Walker.
Here.
Counselor Emmons.
Approve the minutes of September 19th, 2016 committee meeting.
Moved. Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yeah.
Under old business, is there any old business to discuss? Seeing none, moving on to new business. Under authorization, item number 1, Tom Kells, DPW Commissioner, is requesting permission to send 10 employees of the DPW to attend the New York State Highway and Public Works Expo at the New York State Fairgrounds on October 19, 2016. Commissioner Kells, would you like to speak to this?
Counselor, what this will do is give these guys some training on some latest and greatest procedures. They're going to have a brine expo there for snow plowing, which would be great because we're doing that this year.
Any questions, comments? Yes.
I think this would be a good idea. The county does it every year. We go up, we send 10, 15 guys ourselves, and you learn a lot of the new equipment, what they have, different procedures of doing different things, flagging, all that, There's a lot of avenues to learn up there, so I'm going to be supporting this.
Okay. Can I have a motion then, if I no other questions?
Make your motion.
Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yeah.
Item number 2, Tori DeCare, Police Chief, requests permission to accept a mini grant from Walmart in Oswego, New York, in the amount of $150 for the purchase of investigative and office supplies. Chief?
Thank you, Chairman. This was something we were approached by the supervisor of loss prevention, stated that our department would be eligible to receive. Obviously, we need common council approval first, so I told him to get back to him as soon as the folks made their decision.
Any questions from anybody?
Make a motion.
Second. Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds. Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 3, Michael Riley, purchasing agent, states Butler Disposal Systems Incorporated submitted the low bid for the transportation of dewatered sludge to the Bristol Hill landfill at the rate of $10.25 per ton. Determined the agreement will commence on January 1st, 2017 and end on December 31st, 2018. The agreement can be extended for 1 additional year upon mutual consent of both parties. Is there anybody here to speak to this? Well, seeing nobody here to speak to it, it seems to be straightforward. He's stating that the low bidder in this bid process was Butler Disposal at $10.25 per ton. I don't know if we need to talk about or discuss anything else.
Mr. Chair, just reviewing this, and I didn't have a chance to talk to Mr. Riley earlier, but it strikes me that even though the resolution says the cost is covered in the enterprise fund, do we have any sense of what this will actually cost the city to process? $10.25 a ton, to me, seems like a high figure. I know it's the low bid, but just because it's the low bid, I'm not sure it's the most responsible bid. And I may be off base here, but I did want to bring it to your attention.
Yes.
I believe, I could be wrong, I believe this is in response to an issue we had with overloading at the station, that we didn't have a proper way to dispose of the sludge, so the state required us to put a plan in place if that happened again for us to get this hauled out of our plants. We weren't using our reserve tanks. I don't know how much wiggle room we have as far as what we're supposed to do. I know they wanted us to just get a plan in place, if that's what this is in regards to, and I believe it is. I'm certainly not saying if there's more concerns to take a hold or not, but I believe that's what this is in response to.
Well, it says commencing January 1st. I mean, if you don't feel comfortable and the council doesn't feel comfortable, we can certainly table it and wait 2 weeks. I mean, there may not be any rush to do this, is there?
I mean, if it's your will to adopt this tonight, that's fine. I think those questions should be answered in time for next week, though, that's
Yeah,
for
if you
sure.
want to proceed, we can always stop it at the council floor. That's never an
Okay.
issue. And there's a week to get answers. I think that's probably what this is in regards to, and they'll probably want us to make a move on it.
All right, well, then I think we should go forward. Any other comments?
I'd make a motion then.
Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 4, Amy Birdsall, Planning and Zoning Director, requests authorization to submit a grant application for the Transportation Alternatives Program.
Yes, the mayor is interested in supporting the Complete Streets project and applying for funding through the Transportation Alternatives Program. The maximum amount allowed to apply for is $5 million, and he'd like to go ahead and apply for that level of funding. The grant is an 80-20 grant, meaning that the city has to come up with a 20% match. So we anticipate that the DRI funding would be utilized for the match in this consideration. And we'll be putting together what the plan is basically over the next couple of weeks with Bergman as we move forward, but it'll basically consist of safer pedestrian crossings, which is what we're looking at. That's one of the things that's really important in the Complete Streets project itself, is safety, making the distances between crossing the north and south side of 104 more accessible. It'll help to create a more walkable downtown. It'll also help to increase sales downtown. Communities that have implemented Complete Streets projects and programs have seen a 30 to 60% increase in retail tax dollars, retail sales. So it's a really great economic opportunity from a future, forward-looking perspective. Not only is it a beautification project, but it's also an economic development project. So the request is just to apply for the grant, and wondering if you have any questions.
Yes, Council.
I got a quick one. Ms. Birdsell, you said the 1.25 million, that we could take it out of the downtown revitalization part? I mean, we wouldn't have no money coming out of our city budget. That's what I'm looking at. We don't have that kind of money.
I think that that's what the intention is to use a really significant portion of that match is to come from the DRI. That it hasn't obviously been finally, we're in the process right now of determining how that funding will get utilized, but the Complete Streets project in general is definitely slated to receive a significant portion of funding. These types of projects are pretty important to the governor, and I know the project is important to the mayor as well. So that would be the intention, is to minimize any impact to local dollars. Yep.
I have one quick question, and really it's just kind of a procedural question. Maybe you can walk me through this and explain. As I read this, it says the maximum funding award is $5 million, and we will be requesting the maximum amount for a total project cost of $6.25 million. If we haven't actually gone through and identified what we're going to do and putting a number on it, how do we know as of today that we will be requesting the total amount of $6.25 million? It's almost like putting the cart before the horse. Maybe you can explain
A little
that to
bit, and
somebody
sometimes
simple like me.
grant funding is you have to put the cart before the horse when you're requesting money to some degree, because the timelines are best if you apply for funding before all the details are worked out. We won't receive word on whether or not the grant would be funded until early next year, which is when the complete plan will be completed, right? So we have to sort of prep in advance for funding, and then also over the course of the next couple of weeks with Bergman, be putting together what the plan exactly looks like, how far it extends, how much we can get for that level of funding. So they'll have a better idea from past projects how much that money goes, how far that money goes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
you're welcome.
Any other issues, questions? None?
Second.
Counselor Corodino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
And we need a resolution?
Ms. Birdsall, resolution, please. Thank you. Item number 5, Kevin Caracoli, City Attorney, requests approval for the sale of property at 151 East 2nd Street. Caracoli?
Well, this is some excess property that the city of Oswego owns as a result of a tax foreclosure through I guess a bidding process. This individual, Mr. McNeil, has come forward proposing to pay $15,000 for this property, and obviously requires council approval. So if there are specific questions, I'm happy to answer them. There is a reversion clause, just so we're clear on this, which is kind of an interesting and unique condition that I think, frankly, provides some leverage to the city. The reversion clause is that the new owner, and the sale is conditioned upon the new owner making the repairs necessary to make the premises safe and habitable and in compliance with all of the applicable codes, and a certificate of occupancy issued within 1 year from the date of purchase. And if that does not occur, then the property reverts back to the city of Oswego to resell, remarket. So that is a condition that is part of this proposal. If adopted, would be written into the deed so that it would follow the land. Other questions?
Make a motion. You got a question?
Oh, I was just going to just touch on that. That was, when we discussed this last week, that was the counter that we put in, that we would add that reversion clause so that the purchaser was aware that that was a criteria for the property and that he could potentially lose if he doesn't make good on his investment.
And I, for one, thought that was a great idea because obviously we don't want some developer buying a piece of property and letting it sit dormant and deteriorate for 2-3 years. We'd like to sell properties like this and have somebody develop them. So I'm glad that suggestion was made. Thank you, Councilor. Seeing any other comments? Not seeing any, let's make a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Corodino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
We have a add-on under authorization, item number 6. Debbie Code, City Chamberlain, request additional depository for public funds. And would you like to speak to this, Mrs. Code?
Thank you, Counselor. I'm requesting to have Pathfinder Bank added to the list of depositories for the purpose of meeting a HUD requirement for the Community Development Office. Pathfinder can meet that requirement, and I'll just need permission to deposit funds.
Any questions?
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Corodino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
And we need a resolution, I believe.
Resolution, Mrs. Code? Thank you very much. Under transfer of funds, item number 6. Well, actually, it's going to be 7 now. Carolyn Anderson, Animal Control Officer, requests permission for an department transfer of $5,000 from the Animal Control Equipment .0200 account to the Animal Control Personal Services Overtime account .0102 to cover the cost of overtime for the animal control staff for the remainder of the 2016 calendar year. Anderson?
Hi. Yes, councilors. We had a very busy summer here in the Animal Control Department, and this is just to cover the rest of the overtime for the, we are actually a little bit in the negative of our overtime account right now, to cover the already used overtime in the rest of the year. It's transferred from one of my accounts, so it's already in our budget.
Based on previous years, would you say that your busy season is coming up? Or
No, our busy season is usually, well, July and August are our busiest months by far. This year, actually, our busy season started around April. So it's quieted down since September, mid-September. So we're finally getting a little bit quieter. So we shouldn't have any problem running out of any of that transfer. So.
Any questions or comments, Council?
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Corodino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Item number 8. Deborah Code, City Chamberlain, requests budget adjustments.
Thank you,
Code?
Thank you, Counselor. There's some line item adjustments that need to be made for the pool and the marina now that the areas are closed. It's just to move funds from regular personal services to overtime, and also to adjust the DPW admin account for an accrued time payout, as well as the enterprise fund for a claim.
Thank you. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Corodino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren? Yes. Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Item number 9, under travel requests. Tori DeCare, Police Chief, requests permission to send one member of the Oswego City Police Department to attend a 5-day K-9 recertification course that will be held November 14th through the 18th, 2016, in Cooperstown, New York. This course will be held at the New York State Police K-9 facility on Chicken Farm Hill Road. Chief?
Somehow, that'd be the topic of the conversation. This is the annual recertification course for the K-9 Crixus. It's provided free of charge by New York State Police. The only ancillary cost, meals and supplies are going to be covered by forfeiture funds, so no actual local monies will be coming out of that.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions?
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Corodino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
That was the last item on the agenda. Is there any other questions, concerns, anything people want to discuss? Seeing none, have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Counselor Corradino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Fire McRoven.